Hello girls, it's Tuesday. As you can see from my angry face, I am still mad at Louis Tomlinson. I have been talking about why I'm mad at Louis Tomlinson for the last 3 days. I am tired of talking about why I'm mad at Louis Tomlinson. So today, we are going to talk about why Louis Tomlinson is actually Peter Pan.
Every minute's like the last, so let's just take it real slow. Forget about the clock that's tick-tick-ticking.
Both Peter Pan and Louis get excited about really dumb things. Like, okay, perfect example, Louis getting really excited about that dumb interview question that one time, the one about like, oh, if you were a chair, what celebrity would you want to sit on you? Like, dumb stuff like that. Like, Louis and Peter Pan both get excited about really dumb little things that, just don't make sense. But it's like the cutest thing in the entire world, and it's funny, and their enthusiasm makes you want to be enthusiastic about dumb little things sometimes too, and makes you want to smile about dumb little things. Louis and Peter are also very protective, and they're very self-protective and also very protective of the people they love, which is a weird sort of mix. Louis is very, very protective of his family and his friends, and specifically of those 4 boys. But he's also very self-protective, I think, and I think that's when sometimes his more selfish nature comes out, when he seems sort of a little asshole-ish. I think it's really because he's very self-protective. Peter Pan is very similar. He's very protective of the people he loves and cares about. He's very protective of the Lost Boys, aka the other members of One Direction, and, you know, he'll do anything. He'll fight for them or whatever, but he's also very self-protective, and I think it's because they're both very confident people. And I'm not going to take that confidence away from them. I'm not going to pretend like it's not a thing that they have, but they're also both very insecure. And of course, that's a thing that's possible. People act like you can't be both, but of course you can. And I think that a lot of their insecurities are very similar. I think that they're both really scared of things that are inevitable, of getting older, of just that process of growing up and being more mature and having responsibility. And it's weird because at the same time they're both trying to be leaders. They're both trying to lead, but they're trying to lead in a way that allows them to still be young and innocent and without responsibility. And it's very odd. It's very contradictory. Louis and Peter Pan are people who most of their existence is a contradiction. They are both completely selfless and sometimes completely selfish. They are people who are protective of the people they love, but very protective of themselves. They are people who are very confident and very insecure, and they are people who are trying to be leaders and trying to stay young. And those are all things that shouldn't go together. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it makes them seem like assholes and selfish, and sometimes they actually are. Sometimes they do things that are really bad and rude and mean, but other times it works beautifully. It works in a way that lets everything come together. They're both sassy as fuck. Like, really. Peter Pan, Louis Tomlinson, aka sassiest people on the entire planet. Okay, and sometimes, yeah, it's a defense mechanism. I am a very sassy person, I know, sometimes it's a defense mechanism, but you know what, sometimes people are just quick-witted and funny and sassy, and it's just, like, a thing. It's not always him being super rude, it's not always him being self-protective, and sometimes it is. I don't know what times it is and what times it isn't, I'm not inside his mind, but, like, sometimes the sass is just a pure, good, funny thing, and something that I really appreciate. One of my favorite things about Louis is that he knows how to light people up. Some people say that Louis knows how to light up a room, and I don't really think that's true. I don't think Louis is someone that walks into a room and he is the first person you notice. I never think he's a person like that, but I think that he's someone that lights other people up. He is someone that makes people bigger and better versions of themselves, happier versions of themselves. People's jokes are funnier when they're with Louis. The way they talk it seems more engaging. When I watch interviews with those boys, I always think that I like them better when they're with Louis. I always like the person who's sitting by Louis the best, because that person always seems the brightest, like they light up the most, like they're the best versions of themselves, and that is something that Louis does beautifully. Not only does he make people happy, but he makes people better versions of themselves, and that's something that I think Peter Pan is really good at too. He takes those kids and he makes them brighter versions of themselves, happier versions of themselves. He literally, pixie dust, whatever, literally lights them up, and I think that's something that Louis is fantastic at. I think that he does it to people he's physically with, but I think he does it to fans too. He does it to me. He lights me up all the time, and I think that he, in a weird sort of way, me just loving him, knowing he exists, makes me brighter. Okay, so Marcus Zuzak in I Am the Messenger says that sometimes people are beautiful, not in how they look, not in what they say, just in what they are. And I think, to me, that is the epitome of Louis Tomlinson and, of course, of Peter Pan. They're not people that always say the best things, always say things that are the nicest. And sometimes it's really hard for me to describe why Louis is such a good person. To me, it's just obvious. I feel it, I know it, I see it, and I love him for it, because he is beautiful in what he is. And I don't have the words to adequately describe it to you, and if you don't feel it, and you don't get it, and you don't love Louis, you're never really going to. Louis and Peter Pan are not easy people to love. They are people who have flaws, have a lot of flaws, who are really selfish, self-protective people. But they're also really, really good people. And they're beautiful in what they are. And I love loving both of them. Alright, that was fun. It's hard being mad at Louis now. I don't know how I'm going to continue being mad at him. But Mariah, I will see you Wednesday. They're both babes. Such babes. So hot. Oh my god. They're such babes. I don't know who I want to have sex with more. Louis or Peter Pan. I want them to have sex with each other. I'd threesome. With Tinkerbell. Foursome. Babes.